You might think that sending your child to a cheap school means you are saving money. But let me tell you something. I have learned as a parent living in the UAE, cheap schools doesn't always mean cheap education. The school fees may look affordable at first, but once you start receiving those messages asking you to print, laminate, buy books, stationery, bags, uniforms, and other supplies, the expenses can quickly add up. Today, I'm getting ready for my daughter to go back to school, and I have quite a few things to take care of. So, come with me as I prepare for back to school in the UAE on a budget. Hi everyone, my name is Flavia and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. And on this channel, I share my everyday life in the UAE, especially what it's like trying to manage life, work, parenting, and expenses on a limited income. Today, I'm visiting a few places because I'm getting ready for my daughter to go back to school. I am here. Unfortunately, it seems like the shop is closed. You know, sometimes when you are trying to get several things done in one day, one small change can affect your whole plan. But that's life. I know there is another place nearby where I might be able to print. There is a photo studio further down and it's not too far from here. So let's continue walking. And here we are. I have finally reached the photo studio. I am sitting here patiently waiting for my turn while I also prepare all the documents I need to print. Organizing everything before I get to the counter makes the process much easier. This is what I'm printing and laminating today. There are some of those small school requirements that people may not think much about when they hear the words school expenses. But when you are a parent trying to manage every dirham carefully, even smaller expenses matter. Sometimes when people hear that school has relatively affordable tuition fees, they assume that the total cost of education will also be affordable. But that's not always the case. There are many additional things parents have to pay for throughout the school year. You might receive an email or a message from the school asking you to purchase certain materials, print documents, buy books, or send a surprise with your child. As a parent, you have to find a way to provide those things. So today is one of those preparation days for me. The printing and laminating came to 6 dirhams. The documents are finally printed and laminated. One thing checked off my list. The process cost is 6 dirham. It may not sound like a lot of money, but when you have several school requirements to take care of, these little expenses start adding up. Now, it's time for the next stop. I am now heading to another place to buy some back to school materials. there are still quite a few things I need to get. So, I'm trying to find everything in one place and hopefully at a reasonable price. We've finally made it to the store, so let's go inside and see what we can find. I already have a few things in mind that I need to look for. So, I'm hoping I can find everything in one place without having to visit several different stores. We need to head up to the second floor because that's where most of the things I'm looking for are located. So, let's go upstairs and have a look around. I'll take you along as I check the different sections and see what they have. Hopefully, I can find what I need at a reasonable price. Alright, we are here at the second floor. This floor has so many different things. You can find clothes, electronics, children's toys, school supplies, and so much more. For back to school shopping, this place has plenty of options. The first thing that catches my attention is the school bags. There are different styles and different prices. Of course, when you are shopping for children, they have their own ideas about what they like. As a parent, you might be thinking about the price, durability, and practicality, while the child is thinking, I want that one. So today, I'm looking for a school bag for my daughter. As a parent, choosing a school bag is not always as simple as picking the one that looks the nicest. I have to think about the price, the quality, the size, the durability, and whether the bag will actually be practical for my daughter to use every day. I want something that can carry all her books and school supplies without becoming too heavy or uncomfortable. There are so many stationery materials here, and honestly, it can be a little overwhelming when you see all the different options. There are pencil colors, notebooks, folders, erasers, rulers, pens, and so many other small things that children need for school. I need to pick a few books, but buying school books is not always as simple as just walking into a shop and picking up any notebook that looks nice. Different subjects require different types of books. Sometimes the school provides a list and then the parents follow the requirements carefully to make sure you buy exactly what your child needs. So, I'm taking my time. I don't want to buy things she doesn't need. But at the same time, I don't want her to get to school and discover that something important is missing. The goal is to get everything on the school list while staying in the budget. Now, we are getting into the colorful part of the back to school shopping. Pens, markers, pencils, drawing materials, and all kinds of stationery. Everything is giving me that back to school feeling. You can find tape, math sets, drawing kits, pencil cases, and so many other things. And suddenly, you remember 5 more things you forgot. That's exactly how back to school shopping can go. You start with the list, but the list somehow keeps growing. I'm also looking for a lunch bag, something practical to carry her food to school. And while walking, I noticed these pencil jars at 13 dirham and 25 fils. Now, let's find the lunchbox. I see that there are also some discounted options here, which is good because I'm trying to keep the shopping as affordable as possible. A lunchbox might seem like a small thing, but children use these items almost every school day. So I'll get something that's practical and can last. I also need to pick a few hair bands. These are another one of those little things that disappear so quickly when you have a school-going child. You buy them today, and before you know it, they are gone. And of course, I can't forget something very important: drinking water. Living in the UAE means we have to take the heat seriously. The temperatures can be extremely high, especially during the summer months. So, I always want to make sure that my daughter carries water. Staying hydrated is not something I want to compromise on. And just like that, we have reached the end of our shopping trip for today. Thank you so much for spending this day with me. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video.